Every style has some form of condition. It's conditioning. I mean, there's so many, aspects of martial arts. There's that side of it. There's in Tai Chi we do pushing hands, which is much more gentle, but it's still that kind of thing. Tai Chi doesn't do the banging and the stuff. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of conditioning that they did in the old days. People only lived to 40, so it didn't matter.
Right.
Well, you lived to 80 years old and you're all calloused out and your nerves are all dead and
I just remember.
Oh, I don't do it.
Well, I mean, I remember.
I used to do it. Yeah.
He was really. I mean, he was very thin, but his arms were like steel rods. I mean, when he hit you with his arm, it was like someone took a steel arm.
Yeah.
He was 70 at the time. I was here, and I was 30. And you hit my arm, I'm like, okay.
Because it's a live strength versus dead strength. So live strength is penetrating. Dead strength is just a muscular strength. So trained strength, like when you do these type of things, it becomes a live strength, and the impact is very penetrating. It's just like when someone punches and there's muscular tension, it's not as deadly as when you hit and the power just transmitted through the fist into the object. That's where you can do some damage. Yeah. Sounds vicious, doesn't it?
Oh, I was going to ask you, is there any change in this weekend's, the schedule for this weekend?
No.
So you have it on Saturday?
Yeah.
That's the 4th?
Yeah. Oh, no, 4th is Sunday.
Oh, the 4th is Sunday. Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we could take a 4th, but people would say, why'd you take it? No,
So Saturday they will.
Yeah, we'll have classes. Yeah, we try not to, even though they're holidays, because some people are free on holidays, so we try not to do too much. But the 3rd is not a holiday really, so we'll have a class. It's only in the morning anyways. You still have the rest of the day, unless you go away, Okay. So you did okay? You like it? You like it? Yeah. Bow in tonight. Okay, we got to line up. We got next class. Okay.
His grandmother wants to come to the open house, but she can't come upstairs. Can she use the elevator?
Yeah, she can. But she wants to come to the dinner.
Yeah.
Or your grandmother wants to come to the dinner, or just to the 2 to 3, 2 to 5 thing, just to kind of visit.
I was gonna ask her, but I know she cannot make it up those stairs.
Yeah, we'd have to use the elevator, but I'd have to open the door and bring her up, and then bring her back down. Okay. Yeah, because that's a freight elevator, and I have to shut the alarm because they're closed. But I have the codes and all that stuff. But does she want to come just for a short time, because it's a long day?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask her what she wants to do.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, you can carry her up, but No. Well, no, in a chair. But no, I'll take her in an elevator. Is she somewhat mobile? Is she in a wheelchair or anything?
No, she can walk, but with a walker or with a cane. And
Yeah. No.
she's not gonna make it up the stairs.
Yeah, no, I know. My father-in-law's like that too. He can barely. He's probably not as good as she is. He got to push it and walk, but his legs are so weak now that he can't even do that. Okay, let's line up. Rob, you're gonna. Hey, you see the new scenery? We see the new scenery. You didn't know we had trees out there, huh?
Is that what you were cutting when I left on Saturday? When you had the skill saw?
I had to take the walls out for them to get to replace the new windows. So if you want to see what the wall is, it's in the men's dressing room. And actually, I'm trying to get Jen to take them.
Oh, you want those? She wanted to take those walls too?
Well, I called her and see if she wanted those and some insulation, because she can use it for her tomato ripening thing.
Oh, maybe.
She's making a shed for it. If she insulates and they put air conditioning to keep the temperature at 65 degrees to ripen the tomatoes. But she's got to buy all that stuff to make it insulated.
Yeah, I was gonna tell her I would use it. If she doesn't use it, I might use it to build a goat enclosure, like a shed for goats.
Oh, I think she was pretty set on how she's using it already.
Yeah.
So these are going to all of them?
All of those, yeah. Then I'm going to put curtains.
Oh, I see. And what about these? These are relatively new, right?
These are new. Yeah. So now you know, we can maintain a temperature in here.
Are these frames you took out?
No, those are for the new windows.
Next window.
Yeah. Yeah. We got 2.5 to go.
Yeah.
That's all going to happen between tomorrow and Thursday. That's the ladies' room. Yeah. We have no ladies in there, but that's the ladies' room. Oh, he was in there? Yeah, I didn't put any curtains because no one can see from across the street unless they're up in the trees. Okay. That, gee, I got that on video and recording. What did you say?
It was a self-effacing comment.
Okay, ready? Wu bao. Well, yeah, no, you don't have to go on that side because it's kind of dirty over there. You can work this way. I'm on a, oh, you're going to do warm-ups? Okay, yeah. We'll work from that pole this way.
So Lawrence,
Wait.
he didn't come today. It was too hot to work up there. It's too hot. Because he was working yesterday. I'm like, it's too hot up there.
Was he there yesterday?
Yeah, and I was like, they're dying.
He worked there yesterday? for your body position. So strength, is that mic on? The strength in your position comes from where you align your skeleton. So when you're here, it comes down like this. Now because movements are reference to your body, obviously everyone's body's slightly different. So your body framework should be following the same concept and principle. So this would be like that. Good. And this is a little bit more angled like this. Chop.
Over the knee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Over here, then
Yeah.
you're grabbing this.
But if it's on the other side, right, it's not necessarily grabbing, but your body form, when you're doing a body form, depends on which side it is, obviously, but the thing is, it's your framework of the movement. When you block, it has to be a relaxed shoulder position, and how you configure this hand really is the structure for this. Now, when you apply a technique, you know, it's not a dragon, it's actually a cover hand. So if I'm like this, it would be gripping like this. On the other side, you're not going to grip like this, so it will be just like this. But because of this shape, it creates strength here. When I go like this, then the strength is here. But then you modify the arm position. So in application, you know, you have to modify it based on, you know, this, you know, the situation. So when we're here, we're middle, chop. So that gives you an idea. Now, when we're like a diagonal strike, when we're stepping through from the punch, if we use this mirror, you can see better. You know, a lot of movements in Kung Fu are represented by the Chinese character, like a sun punch. This is called a flat punch, because a ping chui is flat. A ping means level, flat. Gitu chui is a sun punch, and that's the shape of the character. Now, diagonal strike represents the same stroke as the word for 1,000, right? Chenji. So when you punch, the closest we have to that configuration in the Western world would be a question mark. So your question mark should come from here, and you track there. There would be a dot on the question mark, but the stroke like that is like a movement like that. So you don't want to throw the punch and bring the hand behind you and then come down. You want to throw your punch and then move into this position, still have that structure. Then when you drop your hand and start to come across diagonally, it turns into the stance. So the question mark is the stroke that you use as a configuration. And that question mark is the same as silk reeling. Because this is our high position. This is our high position. Now, how you create the volume and space in the movement is by turning your torso. So if I go like this, and I go like this, and I turn here, and I drop here, that's how you create the volume of movement. So there's first, like, so Lawrence, see first here. If I go like this, and go like this, and drop here, you see where the pathway of the hand went? I still did the same, but it was only here. If I want to fill this side up, what do? I have to go like this. 1, 2. So I have to turn to my right and then sink down to my left. See, that gives you the volume. Yeah, you see that you fill out that space. So, filling out that space is what makes the movement compatible with your motion and direction of movement. But it also fills out the space because there's anatomically the correct motion for a stroke down like this. Because that's how your shoulder is designed to move. So when we evolve, one of the things that happens is we improve the natural motion. So when we're like this and we're like this, that's your natural motion. If you go like this and then try to force that, it becomes an arm movement, and then it becomes this. And that becomes, something that's somewhat isolated. Isolated movement isn't really acceptable as your skill level improves. You want integrated motion. And integrated motion is where the body and the motion is compatible, and that's your right side. On the left side, what happens? After you punch, my hand that goes to here allows this hand to come up with it. So the relationship between this and this, so that makes sense, because if you punch here and I want to move in, you wouldn't move in with your chest totally exposed like that, right? Because you're open. So if I'm going to open this space, I want to close this space. If I'm going to stroke down to open this space, I want to close this space, right? So what goes up and down becomes that. 1, 2. So you have your up movement that goes down, you have your down movement that goes up, or the horizontal movement goes up. So that coordination is what we're working toward as a gain. So when you stroke Irina, right? Irina. Her name is Irina. Irina. Yeah. Okay. Irina. 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 Okay. Other girls, Arena. Arena. Okay, Irina, Arena. Okay, so when we're here, to fill this up, boom. It doesn't go here. It stops here. Where this is heading there, but it stops here. So if you want to know where it stops here. You see your hands? So my hand is here. This hand is here. This hand is here, to here, to here, to here. When I'm finished, it's really here. If you go like this, you cross your body. You have this one in Fu Hak, you have this one. That's cross the body. This aligned with the shoulder, but my body made it look like this. So when the whole body is moving, you have a piece of different alignments that we have. What's this? This is this. That's square, right? Parallel, shoulder width. So we don't see this position when we're in this position, because we're not facing there. We're here. So what creates this angular position is this. That combination of positions create the total posture. So that's something that is understood over time in your body, because a body creates these postures by the skeletal mixture of positions. So it's the triangles, the circles, and the squares. The square is this. We bring it down here, and we bring it here. We pull up here, we open here, now we open here, and we push. So everything that we're dealing with in motion is really this geometry and alignment. Alignment of our ligaments and tendons and our bones, driven by the muscles. And the muscles is really what controls the motion, and that is controlled by here, which is the neurons and the motor neurons that are involved with movement. So what ties it all together is the sequence of events that happen to create that motion. And that sequence of events is a program that says that there's a certain order that you're filing and firing these synapses to create that action. So that's a pretty complex thing that your body can create just from knowing. And that's how amazing our brain is. But our brain actually controls that. So when they say the mind directs the movement, that's what they're talking about. So they talk about these in the principles and the theories. So when we're here, chun kyo, sliding step, punch, 1, 2, 3, up, 4, sink, turn, move here. So what we have here is, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the incremental transitions to get to each one of those movements. So let's just try that again. Do it, like break it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Go. Yeah. So let's try that one more time, right? 1, 2. So if you turn your waist a little bit more, yeah, a little bit, right? 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So again, now watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You see the hands are not even yet. They become even here. The movements are here and then here. See, those interim position becomes a relationship in the body, because when the hand moves from here to here to here, you created an action here. Because when you use the movement, when I'm here and my hand is here and he punches here, below here, this has to come before I can. It automatically goes there. When I'm in this position, when his hand comes here, I have to intercept here before I turn here. So why does this hand go here? Because from here to here is what controls that. You see, something has to keep things in order. So this becomes that. As soon as this hand wants to go there, I can't just do this. This has to tie together, because that's the disruption of the whole body. See? So that becomes a transition. See, so that's the secondary hand. We don't always pay attention because we're looking always at the dominant hand. But the secondary hand actually is just as vital. It has to be part of the action so that there's a relationship. When you go up the highway, there's one lane that goes that way and one lane that goes the opposite way. That's how traffic works. There's a balance in motion, just like in the body. So they have a du xiang yu dog. Du xiang yu dog means left up, right down. Like a screw. When you turn it clockwise, it goes forward. When you turn it counterclockwise, it goes backwards. So that screwing motion becomes part of our motion. When we throw a punch, it's like this. When we reverse the hand, it goes like this. So this goes this way, coming forward. That's actually counterclockwise rotation, but it's clockwise on this side, and then it reverses. So, it's a constant action like this, the give and take. One's up and one's down. That's actually yin and yang too. Yeah, so yin and yang is actually passive and active, right? Yeah, so when you're moving, if we're here, when I sink, that's relaxing. Sinking is somewhat passive because you're releasing. It becomes turning. The dominant side is the body now, and the hands are moving like this. When I turn like this, there's an action that really is created by the body turn, And then when I turn here, that's the active in the hands, and then the finishing of the body. So active passive is on both sides, right and left, and then there's also active passive in the body creating a motion. So this is, when I go like this, and we're gonna go to the high position, two ways of doing it. Punch, lift, turn, and drop. Or punch, lift, move. That's more isolated. That's a hand-dominant movement. When I'm here and I go like this, that's a passive movement. Folding is passive. When I punch like this and I fold, it's relaxed. Active movement becomes, if his arm was straight forward toward my face and I'm going like this, active movement he would feel my hand creating strength. In active passive movement he would feel very little, movement or strength there, because I'm using this as the motion. So when I fold, what I'm using is this structure. Now how do I get my hand onto the other side? Because when I step up and I turn, that becomes the passive motion. When I get to here and I drop, now that becomes active as a physical thing. And then when I add the body, it becomes a sinking motion. So sinking is gravity. So sinking, because we're free falling, now the force of gravity becomes part of that body motion. So we use gravity, the universal force, to capitalize on how much strength you have to physically use. So, that's efficiency, and it's actually being, mechanically sound, because when my body is in the correct position, I just have to free fall. And free fall is acceleration gravity, and you add some force to the acceleration, you multiply it. That's why when we're doing movement, how do you generate power? Where does it come from, right? Coming from your transition. So this folding becomes passive, this becomes active, this becomes sinking and turning. So, as you progress, all these things, these concepts are theories. You might not be able to physically do it in the beginning, but you house that information, and then when you practice, at some point, it just becomes innate. It just becomes part of everything that you do, because your hands know that when it moves, it's preparing, setting up, moving, changing, kicking, sink, rise, chop, twist. So you're always preparing for the next movement: kick, press, and thrust. And when you thrust, your body is part of that action. You see? Then when your hand is here, or if you're doing this, you turn. This hand should cover your center. Now, covering your center, if you do this and you just keep this fairly tight, then it ends up like that. So the movement is only as big as your forearm, but it has no space and dimension. So when you're here, you have to wrap the body so there's a space here. Now when you step, you fold and then you turn. You see? When I'm here, when I step, it folds. My elbow's out. It drops. Gravity, right? Turn the back. Turn the twist and sink. Now the sink, because this is starting to go down, the down side has to tie together with the down side of the action in gravity. So gravity is picked up in the legs. You step forward, your body is wound up, and you shift, and then you twist, and then the hands come out, and then you're here. So everything has to be compatible with your motion and the configuration of what you're doing. So like the Qigong would say, when you draw a picture of a face, the eyes have to be compatible with the size of the face. You can't be giant, so you can't be too small. It's a proportion, right? So that's a look, it's an image. So when we're doing movements, when we have turn, sink, step, sink, turn, and push, those are phases of movement. But while you're going into the phases of movement, the hand configuration and geometry of those positions have to be compatible with the direction, how your body's moving, and all that. So you say, wow, there's a lot of things going on there, but the thing is, it has to happen almost spontaneously, but it only happens if your program is wired to do that. So you wonder why it takes so long to develop that kind of, strategy. It's because the body doesn't know it. The brain has a capacity to house information, but does it transfer that information? And then when it transfers the information, does that information feed back the brain to say that that's what I'm trying to do? It's all happening like in the cloud. You don't see it, but it's always happening. I don't understand much about the cloud. I just know that stuff goes there. And so this is like that. It's a bank of information, and it's stored there. And if that information is treated correctly, it starts to feed back, and you get responses. And that's what your sensory system does. That's what your proprioception system does. That's what understanding the geometry of position and the direction of movement, all of that starts to come together. So there's a lot of things going on. So we're here and we press the hand, we sink. When you first learn it, you just do that and do that. So actually when you're here and you sink, you pivot this foot and you pivot this heel. You step forward, you sink this, turn, and drop. Now, I'm just going through the general parts of those motions, but what happens to the shoulder? Because the shoulder is tied to the hip, elbows are tied to the knees, the hands are tied to the feet, the waist connects the upper to the lower, and he takes his step, and he pushes, right? And he pushes not too, so this should be in front of your sternum, because if you go higher than the sternum, then this becomes horizontal, and you should be two triangles. So you have the three. So this is triangles, triangles, triangles. So when you fold it, all of those are structures. Yeah. But I mean, this is more technical than anything else, so that your body starts to recognize what the center line is, what the movement. Because if you're coming from your sternum, right, this is the reverse. But if you're coming from the sternum, you notice that when you're here, when you're coming from your sternum, your hands are going to come through, and then they're going to spread a little bit. And when you push out, you'll push out. So eventually your push out is not so much the push out. What it is it's the pulling in. Hard to figure that one out, right? So if you don't want to use the strength, you pull the elbow comes in, right? If your elbows come in, then the hands will go out, right? So now you're not focused on this, and your elbows are cooperating because you're driving from here and from the body. Most people want to do that. That's reaching. You don't actually drive it from your body. Pull the elbows in, and then you have the correct motion. So, are those secrets? It's actually doesn't matter, they didn't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, when you're here, when you come in, you're here, your body's hollowed, and then when you push out, no, now your back lift, and it's not hollow, but it pulled in. So it is still closed, but the hollowing and rounding go hand in hand. This is closing and straightening. So now these muscles are involved. Whereas when you're hollowing, they're not involved as the same way. So one is emptying the round, one is pulling into round. So pulling in becomes the physical side. That becomes a passive action driven by your legs. So that's the best take today for Rob, right? His eyes lit up.
I kind of knew that, but I knew it, but I didn't know it.
Yeah. So here's what knowing and not knowing is because a lot of times when you practice for a long time and you make a discovery, that discovery you don't know is correct or not. But once someone tells you that, then it supports it. Like a teacher tells you that and it supports it, then you know that that's the correct way of doing it. Or you actually have to abide by a certain principle. And the principles will support and explain that action based on the geometry position, passive and active motion, and how that happens. So things start to change because your execution starts to change. So once you make that change, then you're on the next path to the new discovery. And that's how we learn. That's how you... So skill level isn't measured in sequential form, but how your body, sequential body action. So, which is something pretty, pretty amazing. And that's mainly why nobody really, as even teachers don't get good at this without this kind of, understanding.
You're not good because you know all the songs. You're good because you can play a song really well.
Yeah, that's right. You hear what Rob just said? He says, as a musician, you're not good because you know a lot of songs. It's good because you play one well. But if you play a lot well, then you're a really good musician. So if you know one form really well, your skill level can be pretty high. If you know 20 forms and they're not so good, you're still not so good, right? So what do most people want to do in the beginning is learn a lot of form, right? But there's nothing wrong with that. Because they don't know. I mean, with musicians it's a little different. You know when the song sounds bad even though you don't know it. But if you don't know that song, you might still not know it's bad. What? Not always, right? But when you're doing form, most people don't know if it's good or bad. I mean, a really high skill level person can tell, but I'd say probably 90% of people can't tell. But with us, we're not worried about the 90% can't tell. It's really self-cultivation. So you want to do the best and get as good as you can for really your own cultivation and what your body goes through to learn it. And that's something that is unique for individuals. That's why we have not a lot of people that do it, because it tends to take a long time. Now with Tai Chi, they only really have one form. And you cultivate that one form and you can achieve, just through that one form. In Kungfu, they have a lot of forms. Our 4 pillar forms is gung, kuen, right? Tiger crane, 10 images, and iron wire. All those 3-4 forms are actually pretty long. But inside that, to master all of them, really you have to master one of them. Because once you've mastered one of those, then your body form, your execution is going to transfer across, to everything that you do. But what keeps people interested is the multiple or the number of forms that you can learn. So that's okay because it gives you a chance to stay motivated to catch up to your skill level. Because you can't achieve with one form. A lot of people is going to say, I'm bored. I've learned it already. So that's why, for a novice or someone that's just dabbling it, they just want to learn a lot of forms. So that's school. But people have gone through learning a lot of form. They want to go to the next level. And how do you get there? It's this kind of understanding. So and that understanding actually is beneficial to your mind, your body, sequential events. So there's sort of the health benefit to it. How many neurons are you wasting not doing something like this? Most of our motor neurons actually not just do motor skill. It teaches a lot of things to the body. So your brain stays pretty active. And the network of synapses that fire the body is probably, when you're older and you're doing it a long time, is much more dense than someone that doesn't do this. So I have no data that proves that doing this a long time will prevent Alzheimer's or Parkinson's or whatever, but proof is in the pudding. Maybe right. If I get to be 75, I'll tell you if I'm as good as I was at 71. I say if you get there, because nobody knows, right? So, but that's what we're trying to achieve. So you have that, and we lift, and we sink, and we turn. Now, when we make a transition from here to the cross stance, we have to turn. So that's sustaining the body, cross, and then the hands come through center and then separate as you move the body forward. Now when we spin, we turn. Now the hand stays here. Now we're here. Now we have to turn the body, take the sliding step. This is like this, and then we're like this. So what drove this is the torso. What drives the hook is that. What drives the palm is this. And what gets the kick? Go forward. Now here, this. Sink the elbow. Turn and create the circle by maneuvering here. And then lift and turn. And then you reverse, yeah. So that would be Muay Fa Kun and a mix with Loga Kun. But it's, yeah. So Muay Fa Kun and Loga Kun have a lot of this similar transitions. So in Muay Fa Kun we would chop, scoop. Here we palm, scoop. Essentially the same. So the scoop, because we're turning the elbow, what do we have to do? Lift the elbow. Don't focus on the hook. Focus on the lift. See, if you focus here, then this doesn't cooperate. If you focus here, then you'll get your wrist in the right position. Right? From here. If I go like this, this doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily compatible with my body, because my elbow and my knee has to work together. So if I'm here and I lift my elbow, then I can twist my knee. Now I have this action, and because I'm lifting here, I can redirect this. If I'm directing it this, I can't control this. So you have to go to the concept of the elbow creating the direction of motion. So if I sink or rise from the elbow, this is sinking, this is rising. So you have to turn. And then now this sinks when it comes to here. See? So that's where sink the elbow, relax the shoulder becomes so important. Right? So everything kind of follows. Cutting hand, pressing hand, all of those are really fundamentals. Fundamentals as a cutting hand is really dropping your elbow. Repressing is flipping, but you lift the shoulders. When you lift your shoulders, then you hollow your chest. If you drive it by the hand, there's not necessarily a coordination or, the correctness in here, because when everything is done here, which most people only see, when we move our hands, that's what you see. You don't see this, you don't see this, you don't see this. But when even dragon claw, elbows in, elbows out. Now this is like this. In, out. In, turn. In, out. So that's opening and closing. That's what we do with our joints. Open and close them, fold and unfold, relax and sink. So want to do third form? Let's do third form. A lot of sinking and rising in the elbows here. Right? So that was hunga treatment for, actually all your forms have this in it. That type of concept. Okay, now Bangbukun. Okay, here again. Go. Hup. Hup. Hey, we have mirrors on the side when it turns dark. I thought Paul was going to hit the mirror. See, they were climbing in and out because the lift downstairs. You see the lift? There's a giant lift outside. Yeah. So actually, Bangbukun looks pretty good. It's got a lot of action in it, but looks are deceiving. No, it's actually because it's the only form that we do in like that. But do the golden cockerel stands on one leg. No, this is the golden cockerel. Yeah. So that action, let's do the movement, golden cockerel, the hop. Yeah. It's kind of like when you hop, this goes up. And there's when you stomp, the knee is it's still going up. So it's still going up when you stomp. But it's pause. You're here. Then you start to take your step. There's a pause there. In Tai Chi, it's called golden cockerel stands on one leg. And this is called golden cockerel stands on one leg. So it's called Gim Gayok Lip. So all that means is stand on one leg. Yeah. So, yeah. So you're here, and then you move. It's a control too. You're here, you're here.
So the options control.
Yeah. You're coming up here. It's like if I'm kneeing him, I go. Yeah, try not to do this. Just the reason for that is because if you block someone's hand and you go, you want to not go.
Doesn't matter how high you go, it's just
No, well, you know. Here. So here. Just, I mean, Noel will go higher than you, and because the size of his legs and hand. So we just have to do maybe like 2 or 3 inches, maybe more. Actually, 2 inches. That's all you have to do. The knee goes up as a function. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and then the footwork is the toe-heel relationship that we talk about, right? Toe-heel, and that sliding step into the footwork. It's shifting a weight. That's all it is. Passive, active. Step, you step and you pull and you put back. One. Reminds me of like the cartoons when the little snake kind of goes like that. You're going to the feet. Yeah, your head stays the same level. So the way the Qigong used to explain it is when you go forward, it's like slipping your foot underneath the heel. You're going in and you're trying to put your foot under the heel. Yeah. But so you make it.
It should be that close. Because then that feels as though you can get tripped up when fighting.
Huh?
I never had my feet like this when I'm fighting.
No, it's not like this. It's just a pass. Because see, when I get to here and I go like this actually has no weight on it. So we're in a on guard position, right? And I go.
I'm sweaty.
Yeah, I know. So, but I'm not going to touch. See, you really don't see the movement.
You don't. It's hidden.
It's hidden. So what you're doing is you're coming in, and but yeah, that's just no. But it is.
It is. It's, you can't see that motion.
Yeah, because it's hidden. So, I mean, a lot of it's information more than anything. Yeah. Yeah, because it's physical.
Yeah, he was doing
Yeah.
like this, and then I'm here. I was trying to figure out how to explain it to him. And I got the elbow.
Was Asa?
Ponytail.
Yeah, Asa, I think. Yeah, Asa. Okay, we'll bow. Ready? Up. 2, 3, salute. Okay.